All right, in this video, I have a pair of sneakers that I'm very, very excited to finally actually own because I have not had any of the other three from Tom Sachs. And this is the General Purpose Shoe, or GPS. And it is $110. I actually lucked out and got on Tom Sachs' site. Really, really crazy. But they're going to be dropping more in August, it sounds like. Anyway, there's a lot of questions I'm sure you guys have about this shoe. First and foremost, like, is it worth the hype? Is it just a higher end version of a Killshot? What happened to Casey Neistat and Tom Sachs? That's actually an interesting one as well, because it sounds like there's a rich history there. But anyway, I wanted to give you guys an overview of the Tom Sachs General Purpose Shoe, so let's go ahead and get into it. What's going on, guys? Hess here. Hopefully you're having a good day out there. Thank you guys for stopping by and watching. And if you guys are new to my channel and you guys enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button. This is going to be a fun one, though, because honestly, I've had every intent to just pretty much hate on these sneakers before I got them, and then let the shoe speak to me when I get the shoe in hand, and then, you know, giving you kind of my honest feedback about the product. And I got to tell you guys, man, it's difficult because this is one of those shoes that, from images, yeah, it's a general purpose shoe. It's supposed to be boring. I get it. It's a play on of all of that. We kind of understand the mind tricks that Tom Sachs is playing on us. But at any point, we already know that he's had 10 years of creating with Nike under his belt, with 3 different collaborations that have done phenomenally well, including the Overshoe, which was by far the weirdest looking sneaker to release of his last one. But, you know, so we know that he's like tongue-in-cheek, yeah, this is a general purpose shoe. That's kind of what I was thinking. And, you know, to be honest, when you get a $110 pair of sneakers from Nike, you expect it to be $110 worth of value, which is not too much in the Nike world, because mostly you pay for the name. You don't necessarily pay for the quality product nowadays. However, you have this, which is kind of the opposite of that. It's really supposed to be general purpose. It's supposed to be of the highest quality for everyday usage and whatnot. And the price tag is only $110. And they definitely had a lot of engineering that went into this sneaker because it is built differently. As soon as I got them, I was like, wait a minute, this is going to sound weird, but if it didn't have a Nike logo on it, it would feel like a bespoke. It almost feels kind of like something that somebody else created, not Nike, but they made it look like a Nike pair of sneakers, kind of like an elevated version, which is the highest compliment, I guess, to Tom Sachs, because he really managed to create something worthwhile and very, very good for that $110 price point. Now, is it worth $500 or $300 or $400, whatever the resale market is? That's on you guys to decide that. I mean, at that point, you guys are paying for the hype, not for the product necessarily. But it is a really interesting shoe, and one that I plan on wearing for a month straight at least, and then give you guys a follow-up month after wearing of these. I haven't done those videos in a long time. I do want to do more of those. So if you're not familiar with my channel, I do like a month after wearing video, or 3 months after wearing. And I haven't done one in a long time. So if you guys have suggestions for other shoes other than this that you guys would like to see that on, leave a comment and let me know. And I will use you guys to crowdsource some of the information if I have not worn that shoe for like the entire month, obviously. Because there's a lot of you guys that could be my wear testers for me. But anyway, plan on doing one on these because I will beat these up. I'm going to wear these camping 4th of July. I'm going to wear these hiking trails and whatnot. So I'm going to Sun River in Oregon. I'm going to be wearing these biking, literally for everything that I'm going to be doing. And summer is now upon us. My kids are out of school. Also, I just went to the Philippines. I would have brought these with me if I would have got them. I literally got them the day after I got back. Bummer there, though, because these would have had like everyday usage. But I will tell you, on feet immediately, I was like, okay, this is a substantial shoe. It's heavy for sure. If I break out my scale and weigh this guy, you're looking at 14 ounces. So it's a rubber midsole and a rubber outsole, which means this shoe is going to last a lot longer than some of the Phylon sneakers out there, like the Air Jordan 3s and 4s and stuff like that, because we already know those midsoles crumble on those things. Actually, that's actually a good call out for Nike and Jordan brand. They need to start making a rubber midsole with those Jordans somehow or something, because we're tired of seeing the cracks in the paint doing its thing. But this is going to last a really long time because it is rubber and rubber. So this thing is definitely a really firm ride underfoot. I mean, it's really, really heavy duty rubber, and you don't have a lot of squishy feel underfoot, which is okay. Like, I do like those type of sneakers. Sometimes there's comfort shoes for the hospitality industry, like my wife being a nurse. Sometimes they're like wooden clogs, like literally just wooden bottoms on the shoe where it's just really, really firm. And that's what your foot gets used to. And I feel like that's going to be kind of the case with this because it's a really firm rubber. The fit is true to size, however. I would say that this is a really interesting one, though, for me, because I'm not used to having to tie my sneakers. So you can see I actually lace these ones. I never lace my sneakers. I always do the DS loop on them. But honestly, if I do the DS loop on these, it just has too much heel slippage on the back. So leave a comment in the comment section if you get a pair. Let other people know your sizing, if you get true to size or if it's a little bit too big or whatnot. I feel like the heel slippage is definitely real if you don't have these shoes laced down, and that's just the way it is, which kind of makes sense. Again, general purpose shoe, most people, 99% of the people probably out there, lace their shoes. I just don't like to tie my shoes like a normal person. I like to have the DS loop and wear them really relaxed. That way I don't have to retie them every single time I put them on. So that is kind of a pain, something I'm gonna have to learn how to get used to doing on these because I'm gonna be wearing them so much, but wanted to throw that out there. So the materials on here are actually pretty interesting too. Again, it's a $110 shoe. Yes, it looks like a Killshot, which I will be doing a separate comparison video to. I actually bought a pair of blue and like tan Killshots just to compare to these and wear them both and see which one is better and let you know kind of the difference. The Killshots are only 70 bucks. So ultimately I feel like this will definitely be a superior crafted pair of sneakers, especially after I get them in hand, because again, from the ground up of the upper, it's built differently. So yes, we see the hits of suede here and around the toe and up through the laces and even through the mudguard or the side panel down here on the bottom. But then you get to this mesh, and the mesh is not like any other Nike sneakers that I've seen. It definitely has a different pattern than what I'm used to. It's lightweight, though it's pretty breathable as well. You could literally see through it if you hold it up in the light. But then you do have some extra reinforcement around the shoe as well. So all the way around the mudguard of the shoe, there's fused material, and then also over the big toe, so that added durability. Obviously, tried and true, that's probably a really smart spot to put that. And then you do have a fused on Nike swoosh on both sides of the shoe as well. And also the fused material on here is a little bit different than some of the other Nike sneakers that I've seen. This feels a lot more grippy and whatnot, and there's probably a purpose behind that. Then you get to the collar of the shoe, and this is, again, where they change things up. It's almost like a felt type material for the liner, and it feels nice on feet, but it's a little bit loose around the collar. And then you do get to the heel, and the heel has a nice added little piece of padding in it, but it's not enough to hold my heel down. So that was the only downside I saw. Also wanted to point out that the tongue has a double layer of mesh. So there's large perforation holes and then mesh over top of it. And if you hold it up in the light, you can actually see through it and see the larger perforation holes, meaning that it's just added ventilation for a shoe that probably needs it. So I like what they did there. You also have that traditional Tom Sachs pull tabs right here. These ones are blue versus the red ones on the previous two Mars Yard versions. And then it does have the Tom Sachs signature on here with the serial number on the shoe as well. So I think that that's pretty cool. It also says general purpose shoe. NikeCraft shoes are manufactured to the exact specifications of champion athletes throughout the world. NikeCraft supports all the activities of your life and tells your story. So kind of cool there. The other thing that I noticed is when you put the shoe on, if you look inside the shoe, there's actually an extra layer of material built on the inside of the shoe. So it doesn't look like you're really sitting on the reverse side of this. It's like an extra layer of material there that just adds a lot of depth to the shoe and just makes it that much more, like, I don't know, substantial, and just feels like a differently crafted pair of sneakers. Again, that midsole, solid rubber, not like I've seen before. You do have the Nike logo on the back, de-embossed in the same sort of vibe that the Tom Sachs logo is, which I like that. And then even the lace holes up through the shoe are actually much larger gauge lace holes, so you can actually change out these laces if you want, a lot easier. Also, the rubber on the traction, you can see it comes up all the way, the two nibs in the front. Nothing on the back, but you do see a little bit of tread on the back here that's different than the rest of the shoe. And I like the traction on the bottom as well. It does say NikeCraft here with the Nike swoosh that's kind of etched on, and then it has a US patent number down here for the patent of the soles, it looks like. But I like that it's kind of a little bit rounded around, and then you have the nibs all over the place as well. But it feels thick, and I like the fact that they have a nice thick rubber. Again, this is one of those shoes that I think its purpose is to be a general purpose sneaker that lasts for a long time. But I feel like they're probably going to accomplish that because it really does feel like a pretty substantial pair of sneakers. And leave a comment if you guys got a pair as well and you feel the same way as soon as you pull them out of the box. Because, you know, I've opened, like, you could see behind me, I have boxes literally all over my room, and I've opened like thousands of boxes through my years. No exaggeration. That's like a crazy thing to even say. But this is the first Nike one that I pulled out of the box and went, huh, this is different. Like, it's built differently. It's definitely not what I expected for $110. Like, for sure, like, this is a shoe that if I pull this out of the box, I go, okay, this looks like a collaboration. It looks like something special. The price tag would probably be $250 or something like that. And so it's refreshing and also like head scratching that it's so incredibly cheap. And also it makes me question so many more things about so many other purchases, why the prices are so elevated. Obviously, we already know we're paying for the name, Jumpman, Jordan Brand, those type of things most of the time. but this just solidifies that fact. And that was a pretty long introduction to the shoe, but I did want to get some information directly from Nike and see what they say about the shoe. It says, a NikeCraft announces the ordinary shoe for extraordinary people. The NikeCraft General Purpose Shoe GPS is an understated do-everything shoe created to work with every possible scenario. The NikeCraft GPS represents 10 years of partnerships between Nike and Tom Sachs, a collaboration that creates a new perspective on serving the future of athletes and sport. The NikeCraft GPS is a reminder that there is value in creating connection with the things you own. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. I got involved with Nike in the beginning because we wanted to make a sculpture that everyone could wear. It's a tool for everyday life. The GPS shape is distinct, thanks to a slightly perky upturned toe, but not too distinct. It's built with a 3-piece molded cup sole, signature donning straps, microfiber collar, and ultra-breathable knit. Packs a value punch. It took a decade to make a shoe this simple. NikeCraft shuns innovation for its own sake, but embraces it as a necessity. The GPS engineering materials are chosen to provide comfort, support, and a high degree of tactile sensation in a well-priced product. Consideration to durability in utility and style is shown in the upper materials, opening enough to breathe, tight enough to ward off a few raindrops. GPS reminds us that beauty comes in creating connection with the things one owns. Stain it, tear it, repair it. The GPS is a tool to be the best you, says Sachs. They have an understated quality. They're meant to do all things that you do and tell your story. So that's a lot of information about this product, and it probably makes you feel like these things have a nice impact because of what I just read. But at the end of the day, like you look at the product and you think, is this really worth the money or not? It looks like a Killshot knockoff. Like, it can't be that good. Like, is this just another collaboration that's being thrown at us to drive resale and stuff? And I don't think that that is the general purpose of the shoe, pun intended. But I do feel like that luster of like having something that is so desirable is probably nice. However, he seems like he wants other people to have the shoe to actually just wear and stuff. So it sounds like another wave is coming in August, releasing the shoe, and then it sounds like more colorways are coming. So hopefully the resale prices come down, because it will be a shoe that could just be wearable and people can actually enjoy and appreciate what was created for the shoe. Now, if you don't know who Tom Sachs is, I actually did a little bit of digging for this video, just because I wasn't fully understanding who he is as an individual either. He's a contemporary artist, if you didn't know. And if anybody has any information that they want to fill in the blanks that I totally mess up, leave a comment and let others know. This is just kind of some of the stuff that I was like researching out there. But if anybody remembers that pop-up a couple years ago that he had the art exhibit with the NASA stuff and all that, which was kind of surrounding his Mars Yard launch, that was like an art setup. That wasn't actually a launch to NASA. Just pointing that out for clarification. Like, there actually are moon shoes that people have created. Mark Newson, I believe, for Nike, known as the Zendo Checa, and actually had a pair of those back in the day. They were $300. They looked absolutely crazy. They were basically like ahead of the time of Crocs. I wish I still had a pair of those left, and maybe I do in one of the boxes. I'm not 100% sure. But those things were wild, and I remember getting multiple pairs of those things. And yeah, anyway, they were crazy, and they were actually made for the moon, named after the Russian space dog or something like that. The Mars Yard shoe was just not that thing. It's not really made for outer space. However, it was made in conjunction with his Mars contemporary art exhibit that he had in like New York and stuff, it sounds like. So that's kind of my understanding of it. The guy's kind of crazy off the wall and has a really, really like industrial and artistic mind. He kind of reminds me of like a Virgil Abloh in that space before Virgil Abloh came around, I guess. But this is something that's, again, 10 years in the making. And I guess he has a history with Casey Neistat as well. Casey Neistat actually helped film a lot of stuff with him. And he got really offended when people were saying that he copied Tom Sachs and stuff like that instead of just working together. I don't know. It's very interesting because if you look at their studio spaces, like the videos that we've seen Casey Neistat in versus Tom Sachs, if you watch any of his videos, they look fairly identical. The whole thing is very, very, very similar. Anyway, saw some bad blood there. I thought it'd be worth pointing out because it's kind of crazy. Anyway, final thoughts on the shoe, and I will do a follow-up actually wearing these a lot. I think that these are pretty incredible, to be honest, and it's one of those things where I'm glad I did the research and the digging to just find out more about Tom Sachs, get more into his head, what he was doing when he created this shoe, get a better understanding of who he is as an individual, because then it helps me paint the picture of why he created what he created, and like, I guess the thought process and the purpose of what he ended up creating. And because of that, I appreciate the shoe a lot more than I did before researching and finding out more. And you'd think I would know this stuff because I'm a sneaker collector and stuff, but I've never had a Mars Yard. I've never had any of those crazier ones because they're just so incredibly limited and expensive. This is one that I got at retail, and I was going to use every opportunity to give it a try and really to test, like, the difference between like popular versus mainstream. And like, this is a shoe that could probably go to the outlets if you looked at the shoe and you just didn't know anything about Tom Sachs and the collaboration. If they made 1 million of these shoes, 2 million of these shoes, you'd probably find them at the outlets. The Killshots, they've made a bunch of different colors. They've made a couple of different versions, and you know, they go on sale for like $40 or something like that. So what differentiates this $110 shoe from a $40 sale Killshot? I will find out more when I have the Killshots in hand, but based on what I see here, it's the craftsmanship of the product that he touted was such a big deal. It truly is a pretty wonderful feat that they ended up creating here. So I think it's pretty awesome. Honestly, I wouldn't pay resale for the shoe necessarily, but I'm digging what he created, and definitely understand that he created something purposeful and different than anything else that I've tried. And I've, again, tried a lot of things, which is funny to say because I always thought Tom Sachs and the products were over glorified and just didn't make any sense, but I've never saw them really in hand and held the product up close. And when you do that, it definitely changes perspective quite a bit. Pretty crazy, man, and very, very interesting pair of sneakers. If you guys want to buy a pair, I'll link them in the description to like eBay and stuff, Stadium Goods maybe. And anyway, leave a comment and let me know what you guys think about the product. I'm actually really, really blown away by what I actually have in hand. It's crazy, and it's hard to judge when you're out there and you don't have them in hand, but I'm like pointing out the captain obvious things that I probably should have known a while ago. Very, very impressed. I'll leave it at that. Thank you guys for stopping by and watching. Check back in a month for a month after wearing. Check back soon for a Killshot comparison as well. And if you haven't seen, I have a Manila vlog on the channel that I just went to Manila and Philippines and stuff. I should have that, as well as a couple other videos that I think you guys will be interested in. But have a good one. Hopefully we'll see you back for some more content, and thanks for watching. Peace, guys.